What does Kagurabachi chapter 127 have in store for me today? You already know. I'm here to find out. So come experience with me. And I don't see a chapter title as of yet, but I do see a very almost horror like beginning panel of this chapter. I'm seeing like a little candle with all the sparklers from last chapter with Kunishige and Chiaki. I'm seeing like all the sparklers put into an empty milk carton, and then it's around like a candle. But then now there's some dude showing up out of the darkness looking demented, and he's carrying a katana. So I don't know. This seems like to me it's about to go south fast. The man came out of nowhere, howling and waving a sword. Jeez, oh Pete. Oh, it's Sheba. Yes. Let's go, Sheba. He came, Sheba comes in with just a flying kick to this dude's face. Sheba came running and beat him senseless. Good. He said he'd just happened to be in the neighborhood, but I doubted that. And it's just Shiba around the corner of a building watching Kunishige and Chiaki, playing with sparklers and having a great time. And he just has this little smirk on his face. And I mean, that's the mark of a great friend is he loves to see his other friends happy, having fun, even if he is not directly included into the activities. So Shiba is just amazing, but he had to play it off that he didn't really care that much, even though we know last chapter, Chiaki said that they were all worried about Kunishige when he had basically been, fallen off the map for 2 weeks. The man had been screaming. This is Yamaroku Isa's house, right? I know you're loaded. You're that bastard son. What? So this guy is after the money that was left behind by his dad? So is Kunishige or is Rokuhira actually his mother's maiden name and not his father's? Because this guy's saying Yamaroku Isa's house. So maybe I don't know which one in the Japanese. I always forget which one's the first name and which one's the last name. But maybe he decided because of the nature of his father that we found out last chapter that he didn't actually want to carry on that family name. Shiva here is talking. Where the hell did this guy come from? What a nut job. Yeah, absolutely. Well, he was right about one thing. I did have money. My dad left behind a decent amount, plenty for me to live on. Yep, that's what he was talking about last chapter when he was explaining after his father had passed away that they had enough to live off of because his mother also couldn't work because she was like partially blind in one eye and basically totally blind in the other from the abuse. So she couldn't work either. So they were just trying to make ends meet with what was left over. And apparently it was actually a decent amount of money. And especially if it's just Kunishige, just a 12-year-old. Hey, Chiaki, are you okay? I think so. Chiaki's bleeding. So she actually got cut by the sword before Shiba could show up. She's like cut on her left arm. It's just a small cut. And yeah, the eyes of Kunishige here, he's like shocked. And yes, I knew who Yamaroku Isa was. You're going to make a great blacksmith. The only part of my dad I'd ever admired, it was his blacksmith name. Okay, so he had it's a different name for his being a blacksmith. Okay. That's cool. I didn't realize that they could do like It's kinda similar how, mangakas themselves a lot of times do pen names. So, you don't actually know what their sometimes they don't put out their actual name, and it seems like at least Kunishige's father did the same, and that is also answers my question that, Rokuhira is probably still the actual family name, and Yamaroku is just the blacksmith name for his father. And he's looking at the katana on the ground. Looks really, I mean, the way Hokuzono draws katanas in this series is so insane. They're all just beautiful. They look so realistic, and it doesn't stick out at all. Like, it doesn't look out of place, and that's what makes it even better. Even without checking the inscription, I knew instantly it was one of my dad's katana. The guy was a customer. My dad sold katana like that to all kinds of scum. Looking back, the quality was nothing special. Oof. And I was living and growing on that money. Dang. Okay. So this is where he's learning from a young age the implications of forging katana and then selling them, actually handing them off to other people and the consequences of doing so and the implication. And we know, fast forwarding into the future, Rokuhira was very strict about who he sold katana to. And then when he eventually forges the enchanted blades, he personally picks the wielders of each blade. So he tried to do his utmost to ensure that what he was forging would be placed in the proper hands so that it wouldn't be people who were going to intentionally hurt others. So, and he's still just looking at Chiaki and he's just sweating buckets. And he's like, she's saying, it's okay, I'm fine. And she's powering through. Chapter 127, Smelting Part 2. Okay, so we are jumping back out of this flashback and we're back in the forge and it's game time, baby. Let's go. We got Kunishige, who is still at the forge up close, and all of the Subaru clones all around, doing all the duties that is required to keep this process going. Every chemical reaction in the forge is visible in the flames. By their form and color, the blacksmith judges when to add iron, sand, or coal, and how much, and when to use the bellows. That's crazy. That's crazy. You're just staring into fire and extremely powerful and bright. And he's able to discern, get those eyes with the crazy perception abilities. It's so cool, though. Rokuhira, are you okay? And Shiba's coming to check in on his boy. March 28th, 7:20 p.m. 38 hours since the start of bellowing. That is insane. He's not that far off from 2 days, from 2 whole days of just that's insane. Because think about the heat that is pumping off of that, and he is so close to it. I mean, he's drinking water here, which is great because I think that is necessary, or else you would die during this process, probably. But this has even more pressure behind it because of Chiaki and Kunishige's motivation to ensure that she is safe. And he sees that this is their path to achieving that outcome. So, of course, he already had extreme focus when it came to forging katana. But now, on top of it, he has that added bit of juice in the tank because it has to do with Chiaki. And working with the dead and Seki, the slightest error in judgment will be lethal. So far, so good. That's some insane focus. Yeah, exactly, dude. He's locked in. Definition of locked in. Subaru here is thinking that the critical part is yet to come. The furnace temperature is close to 1400 degrees. It's time to start the Kudari phase. Okay, so we're moving on to another phase. I'm assuming it plays off of I believe it was the Tatara smelting process, I believe. So maybe this is like the next phase after that, because this is smelting part two. So I feel like that wouldn't be too big of a jump here. Kudari, yeah, thank you for asking the question. Please explain to me the end game of the Tatara smelting process. Okay, we're getting a little diagram here of the lump of steel at the bottom of the furnace and how it like expands and they grow that lump. So it says to grow the lump of steel forming in the furnace, the smelter adds iron ore while increasing aeration with the bellows. Yep. So Roku here is kind of keeping track of all of that to let Subaru know when to add either more iron ore or also increase the bellows to pump more air into the furnace. It's so cool. Gosh, I would love one day maybe to learn how to forge. Maybe not like in this process because this is seemingly a very old, traditional, probably forgotten type practice and requires way more than I am capable of. But just some simple forging would be sweet. And I think it would be a lot of fun. As greater amounts of Dattenseki are exposed to the fire for the next few hours, the reactions within the furnace will reach their peak. Including setup, he's been at it for nearly 2 days straight without sleep. Yeah, that's insane. Insane. He's got to be on the brink of collapse. He probably is, but I also have the feeling he might not be because, I mean, Kunishiga is built for this. I mean, from a kid, he's been forging he's been forging katana, and on top of it, he has like that obsessive focus that he gets in basically like a flow state when it comes to the forging process. And if anybody out there has experienced like getting into a flow state when you're working on something that you truly are aligned with, and it's like the right cocktail of the situations, and you get into that state, it is one of the most exhilarating feelings ever. And you basically are like supplying yourself with more energy than you are expending in that state. And it allows you to just go for such a long period of time. And I'm assuming that is what's going on here with Kunishige, on top of the fact that he is being driven by the incredible power of love that he has for Chiaki. What he has to do doesn't change. It's just more intense. Okay, so he still has to do the same thing that he's been doing for all these hours, but it's even more intense coming at a later time, which makes it that much more difficult. He can't afford to overlook the slightest flicker. And Kunishige is thinking of Chiaki, and we're seeing the furnace, just these flames bellow into the air. Such gorgeous art. My life finally gains meaning when I risk it for you. Yes, okay. That's what I'm talking. He is getting so much meaning from this process right now that I think he basically can go as long as is necessary. And then we have an explosion outside. Okay, so are the government people here? Are the Sorcery Bureau people here? They're here. Yup. Oh, and Shiba is already, he's gone. He's already used Itazura, teleported outside. So he's ready to defend. He wants the smoke. Now, of all times, Hazumi held them off longer than I expected. We should be grateful. Yeah, that's true. So since setup, it's been 38 hours. So, I mean, that's a decent amount of time. What a disaster. Yeah. If they start battling now, it'll break his concentration. That'll only increase the risk of failure. You're really on our side now, huh? Yeah, Super's thinking to himself, like, dude, you came here to stop us, and now you're on our team. Like, you're on our team. You've been convinced just by observing Kunishige and Subaru like work through this process. And I get it. When you're in the presence of someone or multiple people that are like completely engrossed into something, it becomes it becomes magnetic. You just get pulled into it and it's hard to kind of want to focus on anything else. I'll convince them. Clearly, he's come this far. The Sorcery Bureau will have to see. Unfortunately, Subaru cuts him off. Unfortunately, they've already decided to hand over the princess. As far as the Sorcery Bureau is concerned, avoiding a disastrous accident is all that matters now. Yeah, they've already chosen what contingency to go with. So now at this point, they just want to make sure that the Seki basically doesn't explode like a nuclear bomb and wipe out a bunch of people. so, so there are two options: pray for Rokuhira's success or put out the fire and end the smelting process. Any sane person would choose the latter. Yeah, put out the fire. But I don't think so. We're not sane here. We're not sane around here. We want some magical nuclear katana. Okay. And clearly, Subaru agrees. Oh, I love it. Okay, so Shiba is out there in the field. It seems to be raining outside. Someone's already behind him and they're like tapping him on the back. Blub. And we're seeing something black creep up on his back. Is this the Masumi? Right. This has this has to be the Masumi. I'm seeing like the black suit, a scroll, a ninja scroll. It's the Masumi for sure. Yep, and we got the dual katana on the back. It looks like maybe a female. You knew we were coming, so you chose a wide open space with no obstacles, right? Clever. What is she doing to him? So she's using some sort of spell, um, some type of spell to sorcery that's like within this scroll. Is it like sealing him? Or, I mean, Shiba wasn't fully recovered. He still has bandages all over him. So I don't know. Maybe it has something to do like with his wounds. I don't know. Fortunately, the rain hides our presence too. Okay, so they use that, and we know that they like all the way back with our Masumi group that we met, they were the only ones who could operate around Samura while he was fighting when he was blind at that time because they could operate so they could operate outside of his senses, so they were basically invisible to him. And Samura had like the greatest senses out of any character in the series. So it's like if they can be invisible to him, Shiba, especially an injured Shiba, while it's raining, I get it. I get why it happened. But man, I didn't think it was going to be just like that quick for Shiba is going to be out of the count. And he's already on the ground. Yep, and this looks like it's a female. I heard they were masters of stealth, but this, and he's just straight yakking blood right now. What is going on? They use sorcery to treat the wounds you sustained on Hiroshima. Okay, so they use sorcery for it. So my assumption is that what she is doing is basically like nullifying the healing effects of the sorcery that was used on Sheba. I've suspended the effects. Okay. So if you're new here, I do try to put dots together before the story explicitly tells me. That's just the way that I like to explore and move through the chapters. It's what makes it, very fun for me. So, uh, I am not one to just blitz through the chapter. And just like this, it could come in the next sentence could maybe be on the next page, maybe not for a couple chapters, but I always like to try to follow the threads that pop up into my brain. So, just a forewarning. Once again, you're battered and bleeding from head to toe. I'm afraid I must disable you to carry out my mission. Okay, so she's not just straight up killing him. She could. She absolutely could. While Sheba is in this state, she could kill him. This Rokuhira guy you're supporting, I looked into his family background. He's trash. Okay, okay. He is not trash. He may have been in a situation that could be interpreted as trash. His father was trash. And I wouldn't even go so far to say his mother was. I know at the end there was some complications, but she also had a very terrible experience being married to Kunishige's father. But anyways, I don't appreciate you talking crap about Kunishige. Okay, he's gonna actually save your guys' country instead of what you guys are planning on doing, handing over Chiaki and then putting all your eggs in the basket that is a 6-month-old baby is gonna save you guys. So yeah, great plan. These pipes, okay, so we're seeing Kunishige back in there. These pipes are called Kiro. They feed the air into the furnace, keeping the fire alive. They're the lifeline of the Tatara. Time to begin. And she's gone. And we're going inside. Oh, okay, and we got 2 more Masumi members that are now on both sides of the furnace. Okay, so they're trying to take out the pipes, the Kiro pipes, so that they can just cut off the oxygen, the air going into the furnace, so then the flames are out and they're done. The Masumi and Kunishige is just looking. He doesn't even seem to be that shocked. He's still only focused on the flames, dude. This dude is the definition of locked in, and they're going for it. Who's gonna? I mean, maybe Subaru. I mean, Subaru's there, and we know that Subaru. What was it called? He's also a certified master of a certain a certain sword fighting, like blade technique. What is it? Sand and bone, I think is what it's called. It's the sand and bone one sword style, and he's a master of it. So, and he's got clones all over the place. Let's get it. Yes, let's go. Yes, this is exactly what I was talking about. And I've been waiting for Subaru to get some action because this dude has been such a G since he's shown up. He's been like this sage, like sweet, cool uncle to Kunishige. And he's like the only one that has recognized the incredible abilities of Kunishige, and he even made this massive leap against the government. So I've just been fiending for it, especially because we know that he ends up with one of the enchanted blades. Okay, and he participates in the war, and he is still alive in the current timeline because Shiba is the one who went to go protect him at the sushi restaurant when the Hishaku were invading the Kamunabi. So I can't wait. One, seeing him fight here is sick, and then 2, that just gets me more hype for an even older. He may not be in his prime, but Subaru nonetheless. Yes. So he's holding it in such an interesting way. It's not like a it it reminds me he's like holding it out in front of him and just like quick wrist action. Like, I don't know. That's a sick panel though, because he's got like the white streak coming from his eye. He just looks locked in. And there's 2 of him because of his clones. So he was able to get both of the Masumi members to back off away from the furnace. And one of them's thinking, he's fast. Yeah, dang right he is. Rokuhira, don't look away. And he hasn't. Kunishige has not. Oh, gorgeous, gorgeous panel of Subaru here at the end. The fire isn't going out. And he's just in a stance. Oh, the art here. What a sick final panel. Subaru is locked in. He's locked in. Is he going to hard carry like this whole situation? Because his clones are already the ones that are assisting Kunishige with the smelting and forging process. And on top of it, now he is protecting the forge, the furnace, and Kunishige as well. Wow, this dude is like the MVP of the enchanted blades construction. What a great chapter. Felt a little short, maybe 15 pages. Yeah, I guess it's, it's like normal, but beautifully, beautifully drawn chapter. Loved it. I mean, just getting more of this forging process, and now we're getting a little bit more action injected back into the situation. But it really does feel like we are close. We're getting closer to actually seeing the enchanted blades come into fruition. So, and that is extremely excited. But that is going to be it for me for the exploration for chapter 127. I would just like to thank you for being here to experience it with me. And I will catch you guys in the next chapter. So I hope you guys are having a great day or night wherever you're at. And like I said, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.